And welcome back. We're picking up where we left off last time in our Banished Vault run. Uh, the second one where we're playing on the difficulty. Oh, I forgot the name of the system. Don't know a good way to check the name of the current system. I can see what the system name is for the next one. So Ferretta is the next one. But we're in this one for the moment. So this system, I think, is potentially going to be pretty good for us. In practice, we got 3 locations here. I'm not going to go through the Strength 6 high radiation damage here, because I don't think we're going to be able to make it both ways without taking damage, and if we hit the max damage going both ways, the ship ain't coming back. So that means this is a system where we don't have any water. So water was on that planet. We've got carbon, we've got silicon there, we got methane, titanium over here. We're probably going to explore all 3 of these planets. And we'll probably make an attempt at trying to build a scriptorum to get step 2 on the progress here. Reference is what I'm thinking about, sorry. Let's pull this up. Okay, so I did take a note of what orbital converters we have. We've researched 2 of the orbital converters. So we have access to alloy production and fuel, or no, alloy and elixir in orbit. The orbital ones are 1 better than the planetary ones. So we could produce both of these in this system fairly easily, assuming we have the inputs. So iron, titanium, sulfur. The only iron is on that planet, so we probably don't want to make any alloy here. Could do elixir. And elixir is something we're going to get desperately hungry for as time goes on. So for example, we've got this guy who needs to go in the chapel. He can't go do anything until he gets 1 faith back, which is going to take him a turn, and it's going to cost us an elixir. And in theory, we can sort of preempt having to put them in here by putting them in here early when we've got the time. And that costs elixir. And it costs 1 elixir for every faith level we want to rise it to, right? So bring it to 1 costs 1, bring it to 2 costs 2, bring it to 3 costs 3. Now, bringing it from 0 to 3 is going to cost 1 for the first turn, bring it 0 to 1. 2 for the second turn, bring it from 1 to 2. 3 for this third turn, bring it from 2 to 3. So we could definitely go with a lot of elixir collection. Now to do that, we need silicon and methane. So that's the hard thing in this system, is that those are on opposite ends of the system. The silicon's down here, the methane's down here. Now in practice, what we'd probably do is we'd make the silicon down here. We'd drag that up and then convert that silicon with the local methane. Interestingly enough, usually the energy on these rungs goes from high-low to high close to the sun to low far from the sun. This one's a little weird. This one's got 6 energy up here in the high orbit. So that's actually making it semi-interesting for trying to do something where we make a bunch of sulfur, or make saying sulfur because it's S is the elemental symbol for sulfur. This is silicon in this game. But make another silicon here and drag it up, make it into elixir up here. Either way, we're probably going to want to go down and explore the planet. We probably want to go down there with the stuff to make a scriptorum. So 1 ship we want to load, 2 alloy, 2 elixir on it. And that's also giving you an idea, like, we need elixir to win the game. We need elixir to keep our guys happy. We maybe don't need as much alloy. That's another consumption. Right, so maybe we're not too desperate about the alloy costs. And we got a bunch of fuel already in our ships. We probably want to send the highest faith person to the hollowed planet. because depending on the difficulty, either we want to roll with, say, the 3, or we want to roll condition dice. And if we're just dragging down the elixir and the alloy, we could do that pretty easily on one of these ones. 27 for straight burn down there. 27's decently expensive. 8 down, 8 up. Not that there's going to be any real sense on trying to stop early, right? We could do a 10. Yeah, we could do a 10 and a... Well, that's barely the same. That's a 25, right? So a 10 wouldn't be that bad. That'd be a 2 burn fuel. But a 25 is a 7. We're just better off burning straight down there. Right, so... Yeah, that's an uncomfortable amount, but this ship could happily just burn down there, do that, burn back up. It's going to be a little more of an issue on the cargo ship. Cargo ship, the one that carries all the cargo. Which we probably do want to send down there if we want to make elixir, and we probably want to make elixir. That's the thing that looks to be sensible to make in this system is elixir. Now, to bring the cargo ship down there, we gotta use the inefficient engine. And again, it doesn't make sense to go anywhere else except for straight down there. The 20... Okay, so that's going to be the hard part, is we're probably going to want to do everything we do down there with the small ships. Because we basically want to go down there and come back. Because the big one's not going to be fuel efficient enough. We need the bigger engine to get onto the planet. Or we need to... Maybe this is something we do with the methane up here, right? The methane we can use to make some engines. And this ship is small enough with the engine we'd have to make, the Caracol engine here, to get down to the planet. That'd be 160 on 160, so we can bring up the energy calculator. So engine fiction, 160 on a size 4 ship. And we need 27 to get down there. 27 fuel. Okay, so that would be reasonable. But yeah, so I'm thinking the process is we're going to send someone straight down there, check out the planet, and build the scriptorum or not build the scriptorum. The question is, do we want to send a different crew down there to set up a sulfur? Or, I'm doing the S again. Set up a silicon mine is the plan. Let's put the calendar the way. So we've got 2 ships that can very happily go down there. We can very happily put people on it. And then we're going to probably send a ship around here to explore these, see what the titanium and methane state is, and the presence for artifacts. We could definitely do some more research. So this ship is unable to land. Well, I could give it the fuel efficient one and be able to land on the planets, but we're probably not going to want that. So we're probably not going to set out with the Mandalorian 3 here. Or actually, no, I might send the Mandalorian 3 out to the orbital. That would actually be an interesting place to send it. It would only be a 3 burn to get down there, and it could go there pretty easily. So what do we need? And then the question is, do we want to send the 2 crew here? Do we want to do them on 2 separate ships? That's the question. Yeah, because we could go down there with iron in tow, right? Because if we're going for silica, 3 iron, and then we take like a little bit of surplus. Basically, take a whole stack of iron down there, right? Oh, that's a potential problem that I hadn't accounted for. I don't have much iron. I have exactly 1 stack of iron. And all the mining and stuff is going to require iron. Granted, I think we've got 3 sulfur here, so likely one of those is not super buried. So maybe we don't go there with a full stack of iron, because we need some for up here. Yeah. And I'm looking around because I know one of my guys has a modifier. Gain iron when entering new system. So I was just checking to see if I had a random 4 stack somewhere that I'm not paying attention to. I'm guessing you probably need some Vault reserves for that iron to show up. We also almost have 2 stacks of silicon here, so it wouldn't be too much of a stretch to drag the silicon down and just make an elixir with what we've got in the storage here. So we'd make almost 2 stacks of elixir here for the cost of an orbital structure, which is 1 iron, a methane harvester, which is a titanium. We got almost 3 stacks of titanium, so we got titanium to burn, and a elixir producer, so another 2. Okay, so that's a logic. That's just going to cost us 1 iron, so that's pretty cheap. And that probably either wants to be the Mandalorian 3 or the cargo ship. And it probably makes sense to do the cargo ship. We could even do an engine swap, and we're leaving the Mandalorian 3 here. Although, if I'm not going down to the planet, the Mandalorian 3 is probably the better... No, the cargo ship's going to be... Because the cargo ship just has 6 slots, right? So... Here we go. And it's 11 over there, which we can get like 4 fuel. 4 fuel back. 4 fuel there, 4 fuel back. That's not too bad. So let's go... Let's assume we're going to make some elixir. The question really is, are we going to drag more silicon up from below to make more? Really, I think. And of course, silica is the iron expensive surface harvester. Of course it is. So we need 1 iron for the orbital. And we need 2 titanium for the elixir producer. What I might do is we got one guy that's got to recover. Right. He's got to sit in the chapel, he's got to recover. I want to leave him up here to take the second ship down to the Hallowed planet. Because I'm not expecting any hazards down there. I maybe don't want him to hang around that long. Yeah, maybe don't want to hang around that long. That's going to be the problem there. It's actually the correct amount of titanium. Elixirs too. Oh, I'm forgetting the methane structure. Yeah, the third piece. There we go. We'll send you and you. I think we're just going to leave the Mandalorian 3 in dock. Right now, I don't think we're benefiting from having a lot of places to go. So yeah, this guy's either going to send him exploring, and I might do the exploring. Oh, what's 27 down here? If we stopped early. Okay, it doesn't make a difference. It's 1 fuel different either way. Okay, yeah. So I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to send these guys straight down. I'm either going to decide to send this guy to bring down... Yeah, we'll probably send him down to bring us some iron. The harsh cost of coming straight down here is the cost of coming down and back, right? We've got enough fuel, so let's not concern ourselves with our fuel consumption right now. So we're going to send a second ship down here. Probably send them with the iron. I don't want to delay 5 turns is the thing, right? So it's either commit him or don't to that trip. But yeah, that's going to be the plan. So these guys are going there. Then 8 fuel burn. Gonna have 2 spare fuel on them. Archie 61 is going to fly over here. They 4 fuel burn. They're gonna have plenty of spare fuel. They just don't have a... Well, actually, no. Yeah, no. They don't have enough thrust to land on other planets, so they can come to the orbit, and that's all they can do. Right, so that's what we need the small ship for if we're going to do exploration. So I can either explore, or I can go down, bring the iron down to the planet. It might be worth doing the explore first. You know, I'll have them come out with the iron. I'm going to commit to that. Okay, so you only need 4 thrust to get out there, so commit that. One's in the chapel. We need him there for a turn, so we end the turn. He can now set out with the quaint. And we need at least 3 iron to mine the silicon. The question is, how much surplus do I want to bring along in case we need a resource extractor? There's 3 silicon. In theory, I could go all the way down to, I think about all the resource extractors all the way to 3. So it could have technically been all the way up to 8. I don't think it was. I don't think it will be. There might be one at 3, there might be one at 2, there might be one at 1. And in fact, at this point, I've told myself, we'll bring a spare one. Because most likely, there'll be like 1 in every level. So if I need it, I need the first one, is what I'm guessing. Same sort of thing here. We're going to have to do an 8 fuel burn down. This is one thing we could do, is because we've brought extra fuel here, is maybe fly there to refuel for the exploration instead of fly back to the vault. We'll see how that goes. That's everyone committed to their movements. So, we know about the orbital state. There's probably nothing interesting here. There's no hazards and no artifacts. So, to building we hop. So we set you up. First, you've got to get the structure set up. Orbital structure. Construct. We swap people. I screwed up because I should have brought the silicon along. That's fine. We can work with that. We can start making methane is what we'll do. So we'll get the methane constructor up. I'm gonna put these guys back in the ship for the moment. I'm thinking these ships are probably going to go straight back from here to the vault anyway, so they can grab the sulfur on the way. Okay. So we'll finish building the converter. Elixir producer. Even though we don't got the stuff on hand to do elixir production. These guys actually might be fast enough that they can finish and go back to the station, pick the stuff up, and come back. That'll be a little bit of fuel efficient. I screwed up. We'll waste a bit of fuel. It'll be fine. Because right now, that's all the methane we need. It's just all the methane we need. I'll do an extra click because we can. We'll put one of these guys back in control of the ship. Oh, how much do I need for that engine? 3. We'll bring 3 with us. Yeah, we'll bring 3 with us. And maybe we'll build that more fuel efficient engine. I say more fuel efficient. It's less fuel efficient than this, but it has more thrust, so not... No, well, this ship, if we were using that one, we'd lose 10% efficiency, but we'd then be able to make the cargo ship more fuel efficient enough that we could do explorations on the 2 planets. Okay, 4 fuel back. A little bit wasteful because I gotta go there and back, but we needed to bring the methane back at some point to do the engine make. Okay, the orbital's probably boring. Not seeing any... hazards in orbit. There's no hazards on the planet. And okay, we got everything we need on the planet. So we'll have you drop, grab the scriptorum. Ah, that's the interesting problem. So if I want the silicon, I do want the silicon. I can't build both the scriptorum and get the easy silicon. And I assumed I'd only need the one, and honestly, I only need the one. Alright, the spare iron. In fact, I don't need the spare iron. We could have used that 0 one. The problem is, you can't tear buildings up once you put them down. So, I can either put the scriptorum down, or I can put the mine down. We'll have the space... to build the mine and the extractor. We just need to go back up and get more iron. So we're going to be inefficient with fuel is what's going to happen if I want to get the sulfur or the silicon. The Erugia cannot approach a sun as many vaults do. It remains cautious, knowing the gloom pursues even before it can be seen. The sun as seen from the viewer is small, but just larger than the distant stars. And the chronicle continues. So yeah, we're not gonna have the resources to set the mine up because we need more iron because we need to put an extractor down too. We've got the space to put an extractor down, right? We can put that there, and then we can put the mine there. The extractor 2 costs 3 iron, and we're only bringing 4. Fair enough. We can drag this back to the ship, which is what we'll do. This is going to be fuel inefficient, but it will be fine. This is why we gathered all the fuel before, because if I'm screwing up and I need all the fuel in the world, then I need all the fuel in the world. There was no artifacts here, right? Oh, there were some artifacts here. That's probably what we'll have. The person that's arriving is going to arrive with the iron. We can put the extractor up. The depth extractor up. And then we'll have him spend time gathering artifacts before he does his return. Here, these guys are back with the methane. I screwed up because I didn't bring in the sulfur, so I'm going to bring the sulfur along this time. There'll be enough methane that we can immediately turn all that sulfur into stuff. We can grab one of these guys and make an engine. Just need some space again. Insufficient. Oh, I need some. There we go. There we go. So we got one of the caracal engines. We're not gonna use that right now. Although I am a little tempted. You can bring me do some of the exploration with it. Put you back in the thing. We're gonna grab. I'll bring the engine along in case we do decide to change. I changed my mind. I want to go on some of those planets. Put you back on the ship. So we got the silicon. We got some fuel. Arguably got enough fuel that I can go down to the planet. And we might do that if we're just busy waiting for the other guys. One of those guys is on the way back up to get iron. The other one spent some time gathering some of the artifacts down there. And I didn't have the cargo space to pick the artifacts up, so there was no point in waiting around. That's going to be the problem being down there, is we have no cargo space. Yeah. Okay, and then we can set these guys back out again. 4 fuel out. Then we'll have enough fuel that we can do some exploration once they're done with the elixir production. So this is definitely a system. If I wanted to use the rerolls, this is definitely a system I could improve. But we're not going to restart because I don't think we really need to. And then we want you construct, and we do want a silica harvester, which we can shove in the top corner there, which just costs 3 iron. So in the meantime, he's going to gather the 2 scrolls. And then probably set out to go turn those 2 scrolls in, because he doesn't have the cargo space to sit down there doing that at the same time. Grab, get back on your ship. Yeah, we're gonna go back and just empty the cargo. Burn another 8 fuel. We're just making elixir. This stuff's good. We want a lot of it. Rinse and repeat. And it's nice because we get double. The orbital one gets double yield. The rest of the ground one. So that was worth the investment. Okay, so the question now is, do I want to explore the planets? I think the answer I'll go with is yes. We'll save a little bit of cargo space for going down to the planets by using the more fuel-fitted engine, or the more thrust. Leaving the engine behind while using the engine with enough thrust but reasonably full efficient. So, oh, you needed 2 thrust burn. There we go. Anything on the planet? Nope. A little bit of titanium, a little bit of methane. We'll bring that back to orbit. We may leave that there. Oops. Wanted to send the ship there. And obviously, if we're going to use them, if we want the methane, we probably want to use it. Right, so we'll leave that there. We may take the titanium. We'll see a bit. Only takes 1 thrust to get there. Anything in orbit? Nothing. Did I remember to check the planet, see if there's anything in the artifact tab? There was no artifacts, good. Anything on this little thing? Yep. A little bit of titanium we can take back to orbit. And given the circumstances, we'll pack this all into the ship and take it back. So, there's not much research value here, is what I'm finding. So it's making elixir and leaving after benefiting from the elixir is the plan right now. Okay, so we brought the silicon and the carbon back. I need another 2 iron, and we need to refuel the ship to make the trip. I suppose I could set up the fuel refiner and turn our water into fuel, but it's desperate for fuel. That's one reason to have stored water in the vault. But I think we're not too worried about it. So with that, let's go ahead and ship out down here. Ship got back. So we can leave the titanium, the methane, and a bunch of the elixir behind. In fact, if anything, that's showing me I've got enough stuff stored up. I need to start spending stuff, which maybe isn't super surprising. So the Faith 1 guy is probably worth proving his faith. I could build another engine. I could build more ships. We got the water. I could build some of these. 8 cargo, 2 travelers. I think that's basically what we're running. 4 cargo. Yeah, we really got one of those. So really, this would be the one that would be the new ship. Which is the lightest of the ships we have. So for the sort of popping in to see what we've got in a gravity well, that's probably the best engine. So let's actually make one of those. And it's got the achievement for building a ship. Okay, we're gonna end a turn. Let some of our guys do their thing. Probably gonna leave the guy in the chapel. Do now have this one, which is pretty nice. We probably... Can I afford to build an engine? Yeah, I can afford to build an engine. Give it a nice fuel vision engine. We're not probably going to fly that right now, but it's nice to have it ready for when we need it. Oh, I could go back down there. Yeah, let's not chapel these guys for a little bit. We'll go take what silicon we have and go make it into elixir. So you've got the iron I need to set the thing up. We set up the silicon mine. We probably mine out like 4 stacks, drag it up here, make methane and elixir, and then with whatever time we have left, we'll probably just have everyone sit in the vault chapel gaining. Okay, so I'm at the fuel point. Oh, so this thing... Okay. We're at the fuel point where we're starting to run a little low on fuel. Because of the big burns for down and back. I'm not too concerned yet about running out of fuel. I don't have the orbital fuel producer, so we'd have to go down to a planet to make water. Now, this is a pretty good system. It wouldn't be that bad to track the water out, the 9 units of water, and turn it into a bunch of fuel. What do I need? 1 iron, 1 titanium. Okay, that wouldn't be too hard to do. Because we got a lot of titanium. We're low on iron, not on titanium, as it is. Maybe only go for 2 stacks of iron, make a bunch of... Or not a bunch of water, make a bunch of fuel out of the water. What else do we use water for? Fuel... Ah, stasis. Stasis. Which has to be done on the planet. I'm not desperate for stasis. We only, in theory, need to do 2 more jumps. to win, which is 16. That leaves us a spare 5. And we can potentially make more in other systems. We would want it to be a system that has water, presumably. But yeah, let's go make fuel. Let's make this guy make fuel. If this guy's making fuel, we'll go ahead and make sure these ships have some fuel in it. We're going to need 1 iron for the stasis producer. Oh, and I don't actually have enough cargo space to bring everything down, so we'll do that. And then, which is cheaper? Okay, they're the same cost coming from the vault. Let's go there. Set up on that one. Okay. So here we've got silica, and this is a place that can make the methane. So we can quickly turn that into elixir. And again, I have enough fuel here we can burn straight there, so we can save the 4 turns or so coming in and out of the system instead of going back to the vault. Okay. And then you guys are in orbit with plenty of action, so they'll probably finish up their processing real quick. Now, if I'm bringing 2 stacks of sulfur, let's assume it's 2 stacks of sulfur, then it would help to potentially have 2 stacks of methane waiting for us, which will be done real quick. Okay. Yeah, we're going to have a lot of idle time sitting around, I think, where we can prove the faith of the crew. First stack ready to go. And the methane's going to be pretty quick as well. There's the 2 stacks of methane. We're not going to ship guys down to the bottom of the system, so we're only going to have 2 stacks of silicon coming up. It may be worth dragging a stack of methane back to the ship. And then on the planet here, where we're making fuel, make fuel. Yeah, and this guy can just go up to orbit, and there'll be plenty of water up there. Okay. We made all the methane, so they're just waiting for the rest of the other guys down here to show up. I'm gonna be a little idle for a bit, which will be fine. And the water production, or the fuel production. You want to go to orbit with all that fuel. Hey. And now we're waiting for the guys down here, which will set out next turn. They're going to take 3 turns to arrive, but that'll be fine. Okay, the ship is as full as it can be. 26 burn up there. Which is 7, so it's saving us 1. It definitely saves us fuel instead of going straight back to the vault to go right over there. And we can pick up fuel there to get back to the vault, so that's not going to be too much of a problem. We'll save 1 action so these guys can set out if we've got enough to set it up. And I think I got enough to do a little crafting here. 1 action so these guys can leave. Okay, so I'm going to be 1 action short to get everyone to leave, which is fine. So, then you to burn back is just going to cost 4 fuel. Commit. And you to burn back is going to cost like 2. Yeah. We pass a turn, the other one can burn. And then we can spend, as soon as these guys get back, we can basically spend the rest of the time here raising faith, because we have a lot of elixir. So we're going to go into the next system with some decent faith. So that's going to be my plan. Okay. So you've got 9 fuel, you've got 9 fuel, you've got 9 fuel, you've got 9 fuel. So everyone here, every ship here has 9 fuel except for the one that's going to come in on this button click. Put you in. 9, 9, 9, or 18 there. 6. Okay. Let's get everyone here. We got 2 3s, a 1, and a 2. Let's get everyone up to 3 before we leave the system, at least. Oops. I did not realize that's how that works. It's not going to pull from the stockpile. Okay. So we got, well, we have, I do have enough. I could go all the way up to 4 on everyone, I suppose. Yeah, could go all the way up to 4 on everyone. Got all the ships back, all our stuff back. Going up to 4 would provide me with some more cargo space. Because we are a little tight on space. Oh, but surprisingly low on fuel. You've got a stack, you've got a stack, you've got a stack. The 2 small ships are the ones I like using the most, are actually the ones with the most fuel on them. So that's what we're going to be on the lookout for in the next system, is more fuel. And maybe more stasis. Yeah, we've got so much elixir here, we're going to push everyone up to 4. When it started, we lost half our population overnight. Since then, our losses have conformed to an Aperian progression over the course of several lived years. We have transmitted our initial findings, but any further study will be suicide. We've run out of turns. Every turn after this one, the solar system will slowly be consumed. Return all your ship and exiles to the vault and begin hibernation. Well, they are. We got some stuff we want to do before we start hibernating. It's kind of the plan here. Now, this is a little bit less efficient, per se, in elixir, because this is, by taking them all up to 4, they'll all be 3 in the next system. There we go. Definitely go with more fuel, but we'll be fine. Begin hibernation. Again, once more into the dim starlight. Our chase has endured for such a time that the void is more comfortable than gravity. Our faith wavers. So, taking a little extra time meant we were able to. Everyone will be going into the next system with with 3 faith after losing the faith. The android, we don't have to spend stasis on him, but he always burns one of his condition, and he disappears when he hits 0 condition. Confirm hibernation. We didn't pick up much knowledge in that system, only picking up another 20 knowledge, so we're only up to 25. Gain 1 extra artifact when gathering artifacts. That might be interesting for a character who I'm going to send scouting to gather artifacts. Because that is an ability. So that can only be assigned to 1 person. These are blueprints. Oh, apparently we can build a blueprint or build a power generator if we had more knowledge. We don't. The only one we can really pick up here would be the extra artifact when gathering artifacts. Don't necessarily, because I don't think... Can I? We can't put that on the android. If I could put that on the android, I'd do that, but I think we're going to hold off. We're going to keep our 25 knowledge. Include the hibernation. And welcome to Ferretta. Hibernation is slow and usually painful. Stasis keeps the body alive, but does not alleviate the pain. It is a blessing that we can sleep through the process. We've encountered an unstable system planet. Travel time is well lengthened. And this is the system. There is a hallowed planet. The risk with this hallowed planet is behind a hazard 5, difficult landing, strength 5, potential outcome 1 to 3 damage on failed roll. So what is actually that hazard rating in effect? Hazards 5. So for our crew, that's a 70% chance they take damage moving through that. I could potentially leave someone in the scriptorium, or in the chapel a couple times. We got enough elixir, it wouldn't be the end of the world. And crank someone up to be a little bit more successful in that. Alright, we left someone behind for the returns to do that introspection. We could in theory crank them up to the level 6. That would be a little expensive. It would be 15 more elixir we'd have to spend. But 96, they'd be pretty safe going past that hazard. And then we'll have to check some of the planets, but we got 2 opportunities for water. Oh, interesting. Is there a way they can bring up the... No, there isn't a way to bring up the thing. I'm not sure if the system talked about the spaced out here. So the backbone here, normally you're paying 1 per rung, 1 turn per rung. This one is not charging us. We pay 1 to get in the system, 1 turn to get in the system. And then basically the entire system is 1 rung. There are different rungs for power reasons. We got a high power, high rung, 4 and a 4. So this is a pretty good system. The biggest risk here is going to be getting into that planet. And I think that leaves us with a good place to put a part break in. If you're watching on YouTube, we'll engage with this system in the next part. If you're watching on Twitch, feel free to hang around. I'm going to take a short break to sip a little bit of tea. And then we're going to evaluate the system and try to carry out the plan. Both to get a scriptorium on this hallowed planet and to extract what we need from the system. I'm interested in more stasis. I'm interested in more fuel. Because we don't need more stasis, but we don't know what the next system is. Right, the next system might not even have a hallowed planet. If the next system does not have a hallowed planet, we can't win in the next system. And there's no point in risking not having the stasis to leave the next system if the next system looks terrible. Granted, we only need two stasis for people. If we were real desperate, I mean, real desperate. We could leave people behind in the next system. But let's make at least some stasis that we don't need to do that. But that will be the plan for next time. So if you're watching on YouTube, part of tomorrow. If you're watching on Twitch, feel free to hang around. I can take a short break to sip some tea. So until the next part, wish you all the best of luck and a good time. Catch you all in the next part, and bye for now.